All right, I think everybody for this evening has arrived. Hey, everybody, nice to see you. We seem to have, I think everybody here is Sangha member, so it will be a good retreat among practitioners. So we have 25 people. That's a solid number of people doing retreat together. And as you know, this is the second second retreat in the autumn-winter, autumn-winter period. So we started this autumn training in September, and this is the second retreat of autumn training period and the second 4-day retreat we have annually, together with spring retreat. So, as usual, I will give pointing out instructions, and direct introduction actually happens all the time. It's not only when I say something special. Direct introduction happens all the time. Just tune in to me. Just like I often say that, feel me, feel us, you and me practice together, as if we were sitting over a coffee table, just feeling each other. So there was some discussion about this a couple of weeks ago in Facebook Sangha, and I think that, every now and then it needs to be clarified what the practice is and how teachers like myself can help students, you guys and gals, in your practice. So it is the basic, really the fundamental part of Tantra, the whole idea, the whole concept of Tantra, that there is transmission involved. And transmissions can be sort of like special occasions, like empowerments, where there is empowerment of this deity, that deity, this practice, that practice. So, there are that kind of transmissions, and then there are, you could say, transmission of the basic state, natural state, or Ati Yoga. And somebody who actively recognizes, or what is the word? Somebody who actively lives in the natural state. It is, of course, obvious and natural that, that the presence of such a person, like we have not only myself in our Sangha, but a number of people, have stabilized natural state and so on. So it is simply natural and automatic that somebody who lives in natural state kind of leaves out a scent, sort of like a, scent from flowers or scent from perfume, energy that spreads from such a person. And this is really the heart and soul of the whole Tantric method, since the time immemorial. So, generation after generation in Buddhism, Hinduism, I think even in Sikhism, in Taoism, Shintoism, early Christianity, there has been this solid element of transmission from the teacher or the guru for the students, so that the students can, with the help of that active transmission, can recognize their own basic state. So this is this is common to all Tantric traditions, long before Buddhism even started. Hinduism, or the correct, well, kind of formal but also correct name for Hinduism is Sanatana Dharma, Sanatana, which means eternal teaching, Sanatana Dharma. So, there are records of Hinduism, Sanatana Dharma, going as far back as 12 to 15,000 years. But I think it's much, much older because, 12 or 15,000 years, it's not that long. But considering the fact that the whole Indian continent and the whole Himalayan region, all kinds of religious practices and rituals, yogas, tantras, have spread to that whole vast area, it simply requires a lot of time. And they didn't have internet back then, so people didn't know. There were no Facebook events like 5,000 years ago, so everybody had to spread from one person to another person, and that's a really slow process that takes time. Not to even say that that whole continent, that vast area, they have so many different traditions, like grounded in the culture. So these are the practices there in the cultures. Different tribes, different nationalities they have. So, it's a long process to get to that point. So this gives some sense how long there has been practices in Indian continent and Himalayan regions. And also China, of course, Taoism is also very, very old. So old that, we can't even imagine. Very old tradition. And I can't really remember the numbers from the top of my head, but they are like Taoist health classics, spiritual classics that are considered to be 5 to 10,000 years old. So, that culture has been very developed for a long time as well. Yeah, it's fascinating to think. But what I was talking about was the transmission. So here we are not in ancient China, nor in ancient India. We are here in Zoom, having an online retreat, but we are doing exactly the same thing as folks 8,000 years ago on the banks of river Ganges. Exactly the same thing. So nothing has changed. The foundational practices haven't changed at all during all these thousands and tens of thousands of years. And they won't when we look into the future. They won't change in the future either. Even if there are some, people are trying to come up with all kinds of gadgets and scientific technological inventions that would make meditation easier and perhaps even enable recognition of the natural state, but I have my doubts. Like if you could put some earplugs and then it would put you in natural state. Well, we already have music, so just listen to music, that might do it. But, well, you get the gist. I'm not saying it's good that some people are spending time with new inventions and trying to come up with new solutions, but we all really already have solutions for existential confusion and have had it for a long time, humanity as a whole. Of course, like I've often discussed, and what has been discussed during the few days in Facebook Sangha is that methods and practices, over time they transform, they lose their power, compromises are made, people with too little realization, they think that they can better things, but it happens the opposite. So practices become diluted and powerless, and methods lose their transformative power for one reason or the other, and there are many reasons. But where was I going with this? But thinking about the Tantric tradition, where the guru and the transmission of the guru is the bedrock of the whole thing, if we understand how Guru Yoga needs to be practiced, Guru Yoga from the Tantric perspective, which means that we as practitioners absorb blessings, and through absorbing blessings of the Guru, of Mahasiddha Guru, purification happens and recognition of the natural state happens. This is Tantric Guru Yoga. Then there is Ati Guru Yoga, which is closely related to Tantric Guru Yoga, which means to recognize the basic state, to recognize the primordial, basic state of ours, like through the direct introduction and empowerment over coffee table sitting that I was just mentioning. So if people understand what Guru Yoga is, there would be a lot more Mahasiddhas walking on earth now. But there aren't that many, because people do not understand that Tantric practices, the foundation of it is Tantric Guru Yoga. It needs to be felt. We need to feel, we need to have the sensation from the transmission. It needs to pop us out from our going around mind. It needs to do that. So if after practice session, our conceptual mind is spinning just like it does during the daytime in the office, it's an indication that the practice wasn't done well. Of course, there are moments when we practice, let's say we even shout Hung Pets 300 times. For a moment after that, it can happen that the mind gets busy, sort of like the radio goes on high volume for a moment. This can happen, but it's only a momentary thing. My point is that, if folks practice Guru Yoga and day after day and year after year, there is no difference between like during our daily samsaric mind functioning and state right after practice, something is completely off. It is an indication that Guru Yoga is not understood well. And this is of course something, this whole transmission thing, getting Pemako practitioners to really get in touch with what they feel. This is something that I've emphasized during my whole career of teaching, because that's the most important block in this puzzle. So if you get that, then you come in touch with your own basic state and you start understanding what the method is and how it works. And when you understand that, and when you have the recognition of the basic state, you are with every moment of recognition, you are actually realizing your own enlightened nature. That's how it happens. It's so simple, isn't it? That's the. It's a very simple mechanism, and I wish people. Well, I guess we are in a stage in history where, you know, all religions, including Buddhism, Hinduism, Christianity, definitely, many people are kind of don't want to be involved with all religions so much because there is so much baggage, nonsense in all religions. That is a fact. But at the same time, I wish that somehow this little piece of information that how tantric path works, what tantra is, and what the guru transmission is. I wish that little piece of information spread out to as many people as possible, because it makes everything so much easier. It makes it so much easier and faster. When it gets easier, it gets faster. Then there will be fast progress towards attain Buddhahood. So, I think it's kind of unpopular thought nowadays, due to the baggage and nonsense in all religions, that how do you say, like pushing away the idea that you would be praying or asking blessings from somebody outside yourself. But it is a fact that there are two kinds of beings. There are samsaric beings and there are Buddhas. There are no other kinds of beings. So to turn to Buddhas or Mahasiddhas, it might be the smartest thing for samsaric beings to do, assuming that you want to get out of the samsaric wheel, or at least want to take a break. So this is what we practice, retreat after retreat, and it's wonderful, isn't it? There is nothing better. There is nothing more fulfilling than knowing ourselves. Truly knowing ourselves. I'm not talking about thinking ourselves. I'm not talking about thinking about our what is that? Our traits of personality. I'm not talking about our accomplishments. Thinking about our accomplishments. I'm not talking about that in that superficial way. So I said that there are two kinds of beings, samsaric beings and then Buddhas. And what is common to all samsaric beings is seeking. Though, some samsaric beings are practitioners, so they seek differently. But the vast majority of samsaric beings seek from outside, seek satisfaction, relief from outside. New girlfriend, new boyfriend, new wife, new husband, new car, drugs, alcohol, food, sex, porn, fly fishing in Norway, mountain, mountain trekking. People are after fixes that give them relief, and I don't blame any of them. But if you think that your happiness depends on going to the mountains in Norway, and then after 2 weeks of trekking you have to go back to the office, well, obviously it doesn't work. And you can't be drunk all the time either. You can't be having sex all the time either. You can't have orgasm all the time, except the most subtle kind of orgasm, which is the natural state. I kind of fast forwarded to that, but what I was saying is that vast majority of samsaric beings seek from outside. Some samsaric beings seek from the inside. Practitioners turn within and choose to, well, Buddhist meditators, we understand that our existential pain and confusion is because of our self-based thinking, feeling, self-based mind habits, and it makes us feel miserable. So we deconstruct, we remove those habits, and it of course works. What was I saying? So yes, so it is not difficult to have a taste, have initial experiences about the fact that our basic state, our true being, our true self, the true Carl, true Joe, true Maxim, true Sylvia, is the answer to our existential confusion and pain. And that our true nature, so-called true nature, is very satisfactory. Because it is blissful. Because it is kind, full loaded with kindness, the energy of kindness. Imagine, maybe you had, when you were a child, you had a grandmother who cooked something, and she might have a very warm energy when she was cooking for you, and you felt that kindness energy in her presence. That same kindness we have. It is all the time in us, though covered. But satisfactoriness. So I mentioned the word orgasm. I shared something today with the Red Robe Sangha about Tantric sex. Just a little bit about Tantric sex. And my experience is that, Buddhism discusses different bodies, different bodies of full enlightenment, or different flavors of the basic nature. And one is emptiness, which means selflessness, selflessness of mind elements. I'll come back to this. And the other one, that's Dharmakaya. And the other one is Sambhogakaya, which means enjoyment body, body of natural bliss, body of spontaneous bliss. So we have it. And it comes out from people like grandmothers, grandfathers, mothers, fathers, friends. This basic kindness, basic goodness, it spills out in certain situations. But then next day you might have an argument with mommy or daddy or grandpa, grandparents, or your friends, and then you will be showing a middle finger. And then there's a distortion. The basic kindness somehow disappears. That happens because if selflessness or emptiness hasn't yet touched those negative habit patterns, emotions. So they are distortions, and that's fine. But one just has to continue emptiness practice. But this satisfactoriness of the basic state, I think, is very important because I think that in the minds of many, Buddhism has kind of a dry tone to it. That Buddhism is something that tastes dry. And it does. You know, it's really goddamn dry in many Buddhist groups. But that's an indication of what? That the enjoyment body, our natural bliss, is disregarded, isn't known about. But this natural bliss that is ecstatic, is kind of orgasmic in a very subtle way. It's like honey, sweet, rich in flavor, very sweet perfume. We all have that. Everyone here now has this. Permeating our whole being, radiating from the heart as pure light, pure love. I'm telling you how the natural state is. In Vajrayana Buddhism, there is something called rainbow body. Rainbow. This means blissful body. Our true nature, that is not only free of self-based distortions, me, I, free of that, but it's also full of subtle love. And it's not mine or yours, it's everybody's. It is in me and you, in birds that fly through the window. I live in a top floor of the building, so there are birds flying all the time. It's in a blade of grass. In the field there might be 10 million blades of grass, and it's in every one of them. This basic aliveness, basic love of life itself. This is my understanding of Buddhism. My Buddhism is not dry. To me, Buddha Dharma is a science of life, science of living, really. And this is what yoga should be. Not a religion of dogmas, rules, fundamentalism, but something that really gives people freedom, that really empowers us as genuine beings. Everything else we can throw away. The history of humankind so far, and I'm afraid to the future as well, is full of things becoming complicated. Things, religions, let's say, just becoming dogmatic religions. That's utter bullshit, if you ask me. It cannot be like that. You cannot force it. And the whole religion thing, it's a major distortion. But of course, like I said, the vast majority of beings are samsaric beings. So if samsaric beings have something, it's likely to transform, get diluted, and get distorted. So when Jesus back in the day said that, "My children, you are free, be free of stuff." Now if you go to local priest, he says that, "I'll lock you in a box. This is what you need to believe. And you need to be a member of this, our club, because this is the only club that takes you to the promised land." Oh, fuck that. Pardon my French. That's not good enough. That's a sign of samsara. So people seek and get relief from going to the mountains in Norway, going fly fishing, doing all kinds of things. But we have everything we need in terms of complete satisfaction. Being happy, we already have it. We have our basic nature. May we all, as this retreat Sangha and our Pemako Sangha and the great Sangha of all sentient beings, may we be blessed. May we be blessed. May all beings be blessed. May all beings find their hearts, their clear mind, their grounded, sober presence. Absorb the love of your own basic state. As samsaric beings, we need it because life is stressful and traumatic. Traumas of different types stick to our subconscious mind, and it means that there is a pain, an internal conflict in the place where there should be love. So I'm saying to absorb the love of your own basic state. Absorb the love of what you are experiencing now, the energy you're experiencing now. And this has a tremendous power to heal. And we don't need to do anything to earn it. Inside, we are complete and full of this love and bliss and satisfaction. It is ridiculous to think that we need to earn it somehow. So we keep absorbing the blessings until we grow out of needing blessings. When our recognition grows more stable, then we realize that, oh, we are the source of blessings. This is who we are. It's not something we get. This is who we are. For the sake of all beings, together with all beings, together with all beings, no one left out, not a single one. And this is the greatest love story, isn't it? It's huge, it's vast, and it's complete. May all beings be free. May all beings be free. May they be healthy. May they be loved. May they be free of pain. So again, the basic things to notice. Mind becomes clear. All the haziness, drowsiness, sleepiness, fogginess disappears. Mind becomes clear and present. But not only clarity of a jewel, soft, very soft. Soft, tender, loving. Blissful. And then grounded. Totally peaceful. Peaceful in a way that cannot be disturbed. Cannot get agitated. This is our basic nature. These are the basic characteristics of who we are. Not who we think we are, who we are. So enjoy. Smiling comes It's as if the cells of the whole body, which number up to cell is a really small thing, but so we can't imagine things that small. At least I can't. But to me it feels like all the muscles, or where the muscles are, well, I might as well speak of cells. It's like all the cells of our body are smiling. Not laughing, but smiling. Smiling the smile of happiness. Smiling the smile of bliss. Whole body. Not only heart, not only head, not only here or there. Whole being. Here we are doing a workout on enjoyment body, which when fully accomplished is what rainbow body means. Working with love, kindness, compassion, that's all rainbow body preliminaries. Give yourself a permission to be free and happy. Unleash yourself. Drop control. Much better. When we sunbathe in summer, look also in October in France, when we sunbathe, we don't try to sunbathe. We don't try to get the light and warmth of the sun into our body. We just lie down and we know that it comes. It's a ridiculous idea that, if we try to catch and control and try to receive, try to grab sunlight and warmth, that's a ridiculous idea. Get rid of that idea now. Enjoy the warmth and light of the inner sun. No control. Completely open, completely relaxed. Ah, all cells, all beings. If at any point you feel like taking deep breaths, you might feel spontaneously like doing that. Go ahead, let it happen. So here we are, recognizing our basic mind, our basic heart, our basic presence. And we have done several kind of bodhicitta openers, bodhicitta stretches. And this enables us to recognize our basic nature as it is done in Mahayana, the great vehicle of Buddha Dharma, great vehicle of awakened, what was I going to say, wakeful teaching. Maybe some of you, I'm not saying that everybody should, and you are not a lesser practitioner if you don't perceive this or see this, but some of you might, if you are kind of visually gifted person, you might see that in the place of your body there is a archetype, a Buddha sitting. Maybe Avalokiteshvara, Buddha of compassion, maybe Amitabha, Buddha of light. Maybe some of you had that vision, or maybe none of you had it. I'm just saying that here, when we practice Ati-yoga Chokchen like this, it already includes Tantric practices. But because we are also Tantric practitioners, you might have you might vision that, oh heck, I'm seeing myself, I'm perceiving myself as Amitabha Buddha. Because the archetypes come to Tantric practitioners, and we, excuse me, we embody the archetypes spontaneously the farther we go in practice. We become the light of Amitabha. We become the enlightened compassion. We become the love of Avalokiteshvara, love for all sentient beings. We become that grandmother Buddha for all the children in all existence. It is necessary, even though in this recognition we already have everything. We really have everything we need. But it is correct and it's necessary to express our gratitude to our teachers and masters. So now, with love, I'm bowing at the feet of Guru Rinpoche. Namo Guru Rinpoche. Namo Yeshe Tsogyal. Thank you so much. We couldn't do it without you. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. feel the blessings of Guru Rinpoche and Yeshema. Stay with the energy, lying down for about 20 minutes. I will let you know when to get up. Let's continue practice sitting. So we will sit a little bit more and then do vows and basic prayers. Carl, do you hear me? He doesn't. Clear, calm, peaceful, settled. Relaxing into this recognition. You could say trusting it more. Trusting it more, what does it mean? What does it mean to trust somebody? It means that we don't have to be on our having guard up. We don't need to be concerned or worried that some kind of attack would happen. We can trust our own basic state. So we can let our guard down. deeply satisfying relaxation, deeply satisfying presence without distraction. Ah, can you take vows and prayers?
I vow to liberate all sentient beings. I vow to end all self-based confusion. I vow to exercise the Dharma that frees. I vow to attain the great perfection. I vow to liberate all sentient beings. I vow to end all self-based confusion. I vow to exercise the Dharma that frees. I vow to attain the great perfection. I vow to liberate all sentient beings. I vow to end all self-based confusion. I vow to exercise the Dharma that frees. I vow to attain the great perfection. I take refuge in the Guru. I take refuge in his pure land. I take refuge in the Buddha. I take refuge in the Dharma. I take refuge in the Sangha. I take refuge in the Guru. I take refuge in his pure land. I take refuge in the Buddha. I take refuge in the Dharma. I take refuge in the Sangha. I take refuge in the Guru. I take refuge in his pure land. I take refuge in the Buddha. I take refuge in the Dharma. I take refuge in the Sangha. I am the Guru. I'm in the Pure Land. I am the Buddha. I am the Dharma. I am the Sangha. I am the Guru. I'm in the Pure Land. I am the Buddha. I am the Dharma. I am the Sangha. I am the Guru. I'm in the Pure Land. I am the Buddha. I am the Dharma. I am the Sangha. May all beings be free. May all beings be free. May all beings be free. All beings are free. All beings are free. All beings are free. May all beings receive my accumulated merit. I dedicate the merit to the refuge unto all sentient beings. Let's join the hands and bow together.
Thanks, Kalle. Some preparation for tomorrow. So we've been doing these online retreats for a year and a half now, if not a little more than that. And we haven't done much physical practices, but we will on this retreat. So as a preparation, I'm sure that every one of us here has some form of favorite music that you like. Okay, do you? Do you like music? So have that music ready. So what we will do is that when we start the day tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern European time, we will first do a little bit of tantric practices and ask blessings from gurus, and then we will do some dancing to your own favorite music. So we will mute the microphones, switch off the cameras, and you can just dance to music in your own home for about half an hour. And then we will lie down for relaxation, and then we will continue from there. But in this way we will do some physical practice, just free form dancing. And I will talk about how to dance tomorrow. There are no specific Dzogchen steps for this dancing. The opposite actually. So, just completely free expression. But more about that tomorrow. One thing that I also wanted to kind of wrap up was that I started this evening by discussing how transmission is the heart and soul of Tantra, and how it makes all the difference to our tantric practice, whether or not we ride the wave, figuratively speaking, whether we feel and recognize the energy or not. And I said that if we do it correctly, if we do recognize, if we do feel that we are bathing in the blessings of the Guru, in the energy of the deities, whatever we are practicing, then our monkey mind, our mind gets clear. It gets off the continuous habit of thinking and stressful thought-centered activity. How many of you had that experience this evening? Great. So that's how it needs to be done. That's, like I said, the heart and soul of Tantra. Thank you for this evening. Was a nice session, good practice, and see you tomorrow.
Thank you very much.
My pleasure, my pleasure. See ya.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kim.
Thank you.
Thank you.